I'm Alyse Dunavant-Jones. I'm an MLIS student about 3/4 of the way through my coursework, and I'm focusing on the digital curation and archives and preservation career paths. I'm also a member of the VCARA student group hosting this conference. So in the fall of 2016, I took a digital curation course with Dr. Megan Winget. And the course is designed to provide an introduction to issues involved with appraisal, selection, retention, collection building, documentary strategy, and collection development in archival, library, and museum materials. So what exactly is digital curation? Well, on the slide, I've listed the link to the iSchool's digital curation career pathway. And the pathway gives an idea of the types of classes a student might take to learn about digital curation, as well as the types of jobs a digital curation specialist might take. And then I've also listed a digital curation definition. On a small scale, if you've ever tried to organize your personal computer files, transfer pictures from your phone or a digital camera, or tried to digitize a VHS tape or vinyl record, you've encountered a digital curation issue. So a major part of the course was a semester-long project in which students formed groups and worked with a client to solve a real-world professional digital curation issue. Examples of common professional digital curation issues include a research scientist deciding where or how to secure their research findings, a company deciding how to organize their digital records, or a library beginning a digitization project and deciding which formats to use. After finding a client, we were expected to interview the client to create a data curation profile using the freely available Data Curation Profiles Toolkit from datacurationprofiles.org. The profile looks at important digital curation categories and helps identify which aspects a client needs help with. Once the largest issues were identified, we would then create a project plan for solving the issues and enter into a work agreement with the client. Dr. Winget encouraged us to reach out to clients we already had a relationship with through work, internships, or volunteering. I told my group about the Community Virtual Library, and they enthusiastically asked me to reach out to CVL. But why did I recommend CVL? Well, I began volunteering at the CVL reference desk in summer of 2016. And I also work closely with Dr. Valerie Hill, and she's the Community Virtual Library President, on the Metaverse Libraries project that she, Dr. Marie Vans, and I founded to connect virtual communities across the metaverse. As we were creating Metaverse Libraries, Val came to Marie and me and asked if we knew of a free, non-coding, secure platform that CVL might use to create a database. The database would categorize, describe, preserve, and make high-quality, education-oriented virtual world communities more publicly accessible. Through the creation of an online database, CVL wanted to raise awareness of high-quality educational information in virtual worlds and to document librarians and educators' efforts to create and share educational communities and resources. Our first step was to interview Dr. Hill, or Val as we call her, using the Data Curation Profiles Toolkit. This helped us determine CVL's needs and helped us prioritize their main digital curation issues in creating the database. Once we identified our objectives, we wrote up and entered into a work agreement with CVL. Dr. Winget and Val were both invited to give feedback before the agreement was final. We also created a strategic plan at this stage, defining the subtasks required to complete the work agreement, a tactical plan that defined how those subtasks would be completed, and a timeline with estimated dates for completion. We used Blackboard Collaborate, Skype, and email for communication and used Google Docs for asynchronous collaboration among each other, Val, and Dr. Winget. Throughout the semester, we also compiled and presented our progress to both Val and Dr. Winget, who in turn provided feedback. As represented on this slide, we divided the work pretty evenly among the group. We each had a hand in just about everything, but we also divided tasks according to each other's strengths and skills. With my relationship to CVL, I was a natural fit for project manager. I also have writing and design skills, so I did most of the final compiling and editing for our assignments. Ilana had taken a database class and provided excellent resources on database creation. Nicolette had a solid background in metadata, and she took the lead in creating a metadata schema for us to follow. And Victor had experience applying for nonprofit grants, and so he knew exactly where and how to look for possible funding opportunities. The most crucial results of this project were the selection of Airtable for the database platform, the creation of a Google form for initial data entry, and the identification of Google Sheets for backups. I'm also especially proud of our marketing poster that we created to promote the database. It's currently on display at CVL's Digital Curation exhibit, and it's also on display at my student blog. Please also note the upper right corner of this slide. Our hard work paid off with an A. So there were 3 types of limitations for this project. One type was CVL-specific restrictions. CVL was a nonprofit run by volunteers and a small stipend. It doesn't have the budget for expensive software, nor does it have an IT department to implement code-heavy or back-end platforms. Another type of restriction was the nature of the database. It needed to be online and free to access, but it also needed to be trustworthy and curated. This means that we needed a secure login for librarians to add content and an open view-only link for users to search the database. Finally, there were certain curation issues with my group that my group wasn't equipped to handle, such as cybersecurity or copyright law. Dr. Winchett advised that we leave solutions to those issues to professionals in those fields. Ultimately, we gave 3 suggestions to CVL regarding the future of the database. These included suggestions related to additional storage, cost solutions, and future migration. We also recommended that CVL work with copyright and security professionals to address those areas. Constant communication with Val was the most important aspect of this project, and if I did the project again, I would want to keep even closer contact with her throughout the semester. This is because at the end of the semester, we gave Val a massive report that I can imagine was very daunting. Luckily, I'm continuing with the project as a CVL volunteer, so Val can always ask me questions about the report. But it still would have been nice to segment the report more and really engage with Val on each point as we address them throughout the semester. We also learned how widely digital curation needs and solutions vary depending on individual companies and projects. For example, the Data Curation Profile Toolkit is designed primarily for scientists and research data, so we had to modify portions of it. Another important lesson learned was listening to and respecting your client. If a digital curation specialist disagrees with a client or questions a client's priorities, it's not their job to change the client's mind. It is their job to identify the client's concerns and needs, prioritize those issues, and then work with the client to solve those issues so that they best represent what the client wants. We also readjusted our timeline and deadlines regularly throughout the semester to accommodate any setbacks, feedback, or findings that affected our progress. So this project really marked a turning point for me. It inspired confidence that I'm more than just a budding information professional, but I'm more than just a student, but a budding information professional that has a lot to offer. So while I don't have my degree yet, I've begun to think of myself as a baby librarian. As I mentioned earlier, I'm still helping with the database as a CVL volunteer, and we're seeking more volunteers to add entries and help manage the database. If you have a favorite educational community you'd like to add, anyone can use the Virtual World Communities Database submission form to submit to the database. And though it's in its infancy, the database is up and running, working hard to raise awareness and increase access to high-quality educational virtual world communities. So please take advantage of this great resource. Thank you.